Political Brown Kid back again. I've already done a video before. It was a very short video where I just made a recommendation to check out. It's a white female. She's a white female. She's from Germany. Her books actually came out, I think, in the early 70s. The one book was the Manipulated Man. You go back and check my archives. I recommended her book. Her name is Esther Vilar or Vilar. It's Esther, and then her last name is Vilar, Vilar. And I think she wrote two books. She wrote one called The Manipulated Man, and then she wrote another book. I forget the title of that. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because of this. I've been saying the reason why I recommended her books. Let me start there first. The reason why I recommended her books was because I've been saying this on my channel for a long time. Now, of course, I don't use the technical terms that a lot of people are familiar with, matriarchy, patriarchy, and all that. I really don't like using those words because I think they're overused. I don't like using words when they get overused. That's just a tick that I have. But I've been telling people before that men don't run households. Men do not. Now, I know there's going to be some men up here talking about, they all up in their testosterone. Their testosterone levels are probably through the roof. Maybe my testosterone levels are low and I'm just a punk and a sucker. I have no idea. But they're going to be up here, man, what you talking about? I run my household. I tell them, maybe there's men that's like that. I have no idea. But from what I've known is that since feminism came along in the 70s, the patriarchy has not existed. And I just stumbled upon Esther Vilar's books, and I plan on ordering them. I have not read them yet, so I'm making that disclosure. I don't know what's in her books. I just read the summary of what the books were about, and basically the summary of what the books are about. She's basically saying the same things that I've been saying, and she's basically saying that the patriarchy does not exist, and that women manipulated man. And that's why the book is called The Manipulated Man. She says that women manipulate men into believing that there's a patriarchy. She manipulates men to feel guilty about, I guess, basically being a predator and being this evil patriarch that controls women. And she makes the man, she basically uses reverse psychology to get what she wants. And she mentally, and women are good at that. We all know that women are good at playing psychological games and just kind of manipulating situations and outcomes. So that's the reason why I kind of said, maybe I need to read that book. Now, mind you, again, I have never read the book, don't know what's in it. You may open up that book, she may start talking about something totally left. She may say, I don't know what she's saying in the book. But I did recommend it because, of course, again, my thing is, read what you can. I recommend people read any and everything. Sometimes read. That's why, like I told y'all, I watch Fox News, I watch conservative news, I watch liberal news, and then I try to watch news that's kind of independent. So what's that, like C-SPAN? Because I like to get various points of view. You just can't consume information that's saying one point of view all the time. Because it affects your mental and it affects you. It really does. All it does is reinforces stuff that you already believe. You need to challenge yourself to listen to the other side to see, if they have a rational argument. And if you can listen to another person's point of view and still walk out and uphold your point of view, and then maybe, you can stand corrected, at least to say that I've listened to the other side and I can still stand firm in my conviction of whatever topic it is. Now, getting into the subject is here. The reason why I was said that there is no patriarchy, and you can all read The Manipulated Man by Esther Vilar, check out her other books. But here's the thing. And I've said this on my platform before, but I'm going to specifically focus in. It's kind of mixed in and scattered in with other stuff that I talk about. Like I told y'all before, the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. I use that movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, as an example. I've used it in other posts. And if people aren't familiar with that movie, I highly recommend that you see it. It was a very good movie, number one, but it definitely fits. It's basically a woman and a husband. They hire a nanny. That nanny actually there's an ulterior motive, so it's going to be a spoiler alerts here. I'm not going to give away the whole movie. I'm going to summarize this real quick because I don't want to make this video long. Long story short, they hired this nanny. She had lost her baby. So now this woman already has like a young 5 or 7 year old daughter. And then she just had a newborn. So this other lady, since she lost her baby, she's still lactating. So she's feeding the woman's child. The nanny is breastfeeding the newborn baby. But since she's also hanging out with the daughter because she's controlling the household while both of the other parents are working and going about their careers, she basically controls the house. She kind of gets the older little daughter to side with her and to kind of be on her side, and she kind of twists her mind, not really against her mother, but kind of to be sympathetic towards her. And then the baby just won't take the mother's breast milk. The baby now only breastfeeds off of the woman. And then she starts manipulating the husband, and she just kind of controls situations in the household. So that's basically the way how they called it. The hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. And it is so true when you look at when people start talking about a patriarchy. Again, I can't speak for the color purple days because those days were possibly it would probably definitely true. I can't really speak for it because I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure that the men probably controlled the households, and maybe they did dictate to women that you do this and do that and you listen to what I say. I don't know. But when you look at today's time and age, the reason why that it's more of a matriarchy, it's really kind of 50-50 both ways. It's really kind of no one really leads per se. One person leads one here, one person leads there. It's really kind of going down this path, but there's really no, and if the man is still kind of like the leader, really, the woman is really the advisor, and she manipulates and guides his thoughts and decisions. It's kind of like when you look at a president. A president isn't smart. He doesn't know anything about war. You look at Donald Trump and all of these presidents, they don't know anything about war. They rely on their general to tell them what to do and give them what the recommendation is. And they rely on, the Federal Reserve Secretary to give them information on how to get the economy better. They rely on subject matter experts, basically. When you look at a man and a woman together, because men are really simple. We're simple creatures. All we want is just to be kind of left alone and, get a little intimacy here and there and just kind of just go about our day. Men don't control the household. When you go house hunting with your wife, and you can watch House Hunters, go watch House Hunters. I used to watch House Hunters a lot. I don't watch it anymore. But when you watch House Hunters, when they're looking at homes and they got to make a choice between house number 1, 2, or 3, you know what house they choose? The house that the woman likes. For the most part. There are times when the man wins, but for the most part, the woman is like, I like this house. And he's just trying to make her happy because, like I said, men are really simple creatures. We really I really don't care. As long as it's kind of rational and it makes sense. As long as it's a rational move, I'm fine. We allow women to pretty much dictate the house that we get, the house that we're going to live in. The woman dictates what colors are going up on these walls. She dictates where the furniture is going. She dictates everything. Like I told y'all before, do an experiment. Let your wife go to work and you just decide to rearrange the kitchen, move the plates from here to there, move the silverware from here to there, and then go rearrange the furniture in the living room and the dining room and in your bedroom, which is her bedroom. And you just get to sleep there. Go rearrange the furniture and see what happens when she come home. She going to, especially if it's a sister, she going to tell you, no, hell to the no. She going to pull a Whitney Houston, hell to the no, move all this stuff back. And she going to make you move it back. She ain't going to move it back because she going to be like, I didn't move it. You move all this stuff back, and she going to stand over your shoulder while you move every single spoon, fork, and butter knife back to where she had it. And she going to have you move that bed by yourself, and she going to have you do whatever you want to do. Do what you're supposed to do. She chooses what goes in that house. You get one room in that house. If you got a basement, you get the man cave. That's the only room you get to decorate. That's the only room you get to decorate. Either that or the office. You get one room. Or the outside. You get the outside backyard. I don't make this stuff up. When families gather, it is the woman that brings the family together. And when I say family, that is extended family. That's not just your nuclear family, but that's the extended family. When Thanksgiving rolls around, it's the woman that organizes to say, "Hey, look, I'm inviting my mama and my cousins and all my people coming over. Oh, and by the way, you can invite your mother, you know, your mother and your peoples over too." But she's already planned out the Thanksgiving dinner, she's planned out the Christmas dinner, and she's planned out whatever other holidays, whatever it is that y'all celebrate. She's planned it out. And then she tells you what you need and what they need for the house and what she needs for the party. And you go and you do it. Because for the most part, you just want to be left alone. Men are not going to take the initiative to start. There are some men that are into parties and socializing, but women are the socialites. They gather everything together. Go watch the movie Soul Food. Prime example. Go watch the movie Soul Food for all you black people. If there's white people out there listening like Soul Food, what is that? This movie called Soul Food. Go so Vivica Fox is in there. Vanessa L. Williams is in there. And a whole bunch of other people. I forget the names right now. But go watch that movie. And what you're going to see in there is the mother, the matriarch, controlling the house. And when she passes away, what happens? The family disperses. When she was alive, the family came together every Sunday and met up at her house. They fellowshiped, they got together as a family, and they kept their bond together. Soon as she passed away, everything went away. Nobody came around, and then it was up to her little grandson. Spoiler alert! Another little spoiler alert, because this is about soul food. It was up to her little grandson to try to say, "I'm going to carry out Big Mama's wish to keep the family together, and I'm going to bring them back to this house so we can have Sunday dinners and keep this family together." And that was what the movie was about. And guess what? When the family came back to the house, when he was able to finally get the family back together months later, because I'm going off movie time, it looked like it took a couple of weeks or a couple of months to get this family back together. When they were all decided to come in this house, they were like, "What's that noise upstairs?" And guess what the noise was? It was old Uncle Earl. You know, everybody has an Uncle Earl, right? I don't know what the uncle's name was, to be honest with you. I just call him Uncle Earl because everybody has an Uncle Earl. The Uncle Earl still living in the attic. No one came over to check on Uncle Earl when Big Mama died. When Big Mama died, you did not hear in that movie one time anybody say, "We need to go check on Uncle Earl." Does anybody go on to feed Uncle Earl and make sure he's bathing and make sure he takes his medicine and make sure he's eating? In that whole movie, you didn't hear a thing about Uncle Earl to the end. They went upstairs, found Uncle Earl, brought him downstairs, and then I'm not going to give the spoiler alert for the movie, but that's when they found Uncle Earl. Nobody gave a dang on about Uncle Earl when Big Mama died. And it's the same thing in life. When the matriarch of the family goes away, if another matriarch does not step up and take her place, the family is done. Granddad can still be around. Pop can still be around, or Dad can still be around. That family's not gathering for Dad. No one gathers for Dad. No one. Chris Rock said it perfectly. Men are loved under conditions. Women are loved unconditionally. Women and children. And he's right. There was a white lady. Matter of fact, I think it was an Asian lady. Talk about why she divorced her husband. I'll tell you, these women, they just leave. They leave under the dumbest reasons at all. She said that she realized that she was doing 7 more hours of work than her husband. She was like, I had to come home and then, then I have to deal with the kids. Now I said, man, what, this man didn't play football with his kids? They didn't play basketball? Because these are things that especially the dads do. But let me tell you this, because once again, I was married. The one thing about a kid is they have a special bond with mom. And it's not that dads are just lazy as hell, but a kid, I'm going to give you an example. Dad can be sitting in the family room watching TV. He's just sitting down watching TV. He's doing nothing. He's absolutely doing nothing. He's sitting down on the couch watching the television. I don't know what he's watching. It doesn't matter. He's watching the television, relaxing. The kids can be playing right in front of him. The little boy and the little girl. They can be sitting down on the floor playing right there in front of them, running around, doing whatever it is they're doing. And you know what? When they need something, guess what they do? They bypass dad, go around down the hall, up the stairs, and go to mom. Mom, can I get this? Mom, can you help me with this? Mom, can and all you're gonna hear is mom start screaming, why do I have to do it? I'm relaxing. Oh my God. And the mom's up there freaking out, and then that's when dad gets up off the couch and is like, what's going on? Cause she done came downstairs, she's mad, and she's just like, oh my God, you standing right here. Why didn't you help these kids? And he's like, help them with what? He's like, what? What are you talking about? These kids want a sandwich and you didn't make them. They didn't tell me they wanted a sandwich. I don't know. Or they go to mom and ask her trivial questions. Kids just bypass dad and they go straight to mom. And it's not that we didn't say go to your mama. That's what they do because they have that bond or connection with mom. Maybe they just afraid of dad. I have no idea. But they only come to dads when they need something. Dad, can you fix this for me? Dad, I need $20. Dad, I need this. That's when they come to us. But for the most time, they will bug the heck out of mom. It's the matriarchy. If y'all don't think, I have never in my relationship, I don't think there's ever been a time where, men don't just bust through the door and be like, get on your knees and start scrubbing this floor. How come the house ain't clean? When has that ever happened? When does that ever happen? When you come into your house, the woman sets the rules. We just bought this brand new house and you gonna come in this house with them muddy shoes. Well, my shoes aren't dirty. I don't want any shoes being worn in my house. You take your shoes off at the door. And you just got off where you've been standing on your feet doing construction for 12 hours straight. And you done came home and then she done made a new rule that you have to follow. The rule wasn't discussed with me first. She just made the rule, and then as soon as you walk through the door, you have to abide by it. Oh, and you got dirt on you from working in the construction. No, you need to go outside and shake that dirt off. And you got some dirt spots. I've been cleaning up all day. You get that mop and clean that up. I'm not doing it. That's what they do. Where is the patriarchy at? I'm just trying to get an understanding of where the patriarchy is. And I've been saying this in all my videos. I've been saying it. Women, they'll tell you they're not spending their money, what they're not going to do, what they're not going to do, what they're not going to do. Even in the bedroom, I'm telling you, the patriarchy doesn't exist. Go in the bedroom. Especially, I'm telling you. But then again, these women have now turned into deviants. They have turned into deviants when it comes to doing intimate relations. So I may be wrong on this one now because, like I said, I'm back, but I'm telling you, but women will tell you what they're not going to do. They're going to sit, they're going to lay there, and you got to left, right, up, down, faster, slower, harder, softer, and then you got to go down there. You move your tongue this way, move it that way. You have to do a lot of work and exercise, and she just gets to lay there. And then when you want something done, my leg hurt. No, hurt my back. No, I ain't doing all of that. I'm not doing that either. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. I'll do this until this point, but you ain't going to do. It's a whole bunch of what they don't want to do. So where's the patriarchy? Women dictate the relationship. They drag men out on Mother's Day. They drag men out on Valentine's Day. We don't get anything out of it. But a bunch of crowds. Y'all know men have, and maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a jerk. Maybe I am a jerk, and I know I am. But we have, what I say, when I say we're jerks is we have short tempers. Men do, and I know I do. I had, I tried to work on that. We just have short tempers where we get frustrated fast. We may not explode and blow up, but you can see the frustration on our face. We don't deal with chaos and large, like when you take us out on Mother's Day and there's all this confusion, and then I got this scaled down menu and I had to wait 4 hours to eat and do all this. It's just a lot. And it's like when men, but when men try to make a suggestion, no, we got to do it the way I want it done. And for Valentine's, I need this, I need that, I need this. And here the man is riding around, going out, trying to please her. And then when it comes to him, he don't get any. Number one, he's not going to ask for anything because he's not that demanding. But I'm telling you, The patriarchy does not exist. So I'm just trying to figure out why women are complaining. The only place where you can probably say the patriarchy exists is in the workplace. Now, this goes to my argument about the video with the black female claiming that the black male is the patriarchy in the workplace. When we don't own anything, we don't own anything. We don't make the hires. We don't make the promotions. We don't do that. We're not a part of any patriarchy. We're a worker just like you. And that's just keeping it real. So we've just seen that men don't run households. The patriarchy, at least, like I said, since feminism, since the 70s, 80s, definitely in the 21st century, you can't really say that there's a patriarchy going on. Now, once again, there's pockets of, like when you get down to the individual granular level, yeah, somebody's household is being run by a patriarchy, but then somebody else's household is being run by a matriarchy. You can make that argument as well. And then you can make that argument that there's no patriarchy or matriarchy in other people's households. And as general, when you look at households in the 21st century, you can't say that there's a patriarchy or and even if there is, people are assuming and making the assumption. And when you hear patriarchy, you're hearing it's negative. They're taking it as a negative. But when you hear matriarchy, you don't hear them discussing a matriarchy in terms of it being negative. Women have turned the term patriarchy into a dirty, nasty word. And I'm just being honest about that. So now let's move outside of the household. When you look outside of the household and you just look at everyday life, when you talk about the patriarchy, the one thing you can possibly make the argument for is that, the system of patriarchy, from back in the day has probably carried over and there's still remnants of that. But when you look at like presidential elections and when you look at these sort of things where people have a right and a voice in them, you can't really say that there's a patriarchy because people vote for who they vote for. Now, I will say this, because candidates have to have the monies, they have to have the funds, they have to have the backings just even in order to get their name on ballots. So, you can have, just as though you can still have, racism in terms of, politics and politicians, you can have some patriarchy still existing. But now when you look more than ever, people are running. You can't say that there hasn't been a lot of women candidates. You can't say that there haven't been a lot of minority candidates. The numbers go to show you. Now, once again, who people vote for, that's a different story. But you can't say that there's just these men running around just voting for nothing but men, because there's just as many women voting as there are men. And if the votes fall the way they fall, it's just the way they fall. Now, when you look in terms of the workplace, as far as patriarchy is concerned, well, I'm just taking, for example, how is Facebook, or now known as Meta, how is that a patriarchy? He started his business. So, of course, you can't make the argument. It's, the men have started these businesses. This world today is highly a tech world. So when you look at the world and you look at the business that have been started, a lot of those businesses exist. The businesses that you see, let me just put it this way, the businesses that most people focus on are like mostly the tech businesses. So they focus on Alphabet, aka Google. And of course that was started by Sergey Brin and I forget the other guy. So now people want to claim that that's a patriarchy. But they started the company. It's their company. But no one talks about the businesses that are started by women. The women overlook that. No one talks about the matriarchies that exist. Nobody talks about the Spanx company, the female billionaire that started Spanx. Nobody talks about, what's that girl, Elizabeth, the one that got locked up, the little 19-year-old that started the blood testing company. She had a $1 billion company, went to zero because she wanted to commit fraud. And then when she got caught lying and committing fraud, she tried to blame it on her Asian boyfriend and claimed that he was abusive and controlling her. Once again, going back to Esther Villar's The Manipulated Man, when it's all fine and dandy and they're winning, they want to take credit. And then once the business folds, now they want to blame someone else, particularly a man, saying that they're being controlled and it's the patriarchy controlling them, when she was the one, in fact, lying. But no one talks about these other successful businesses that are run by women. Harpo Studios, owned by Oprah Winfrey Network. I think is it not McKissick, but it's McKinsey and McKinsey, black female that basically built the African American Museum, and she does a lot of construction here in Washington D.C. She runs her business. I think that's the no. I think that was that the family business or that business that she started. But her family has a background in construction that goes back generations. She's running, and no one's talking about, no one's saying that it's toxic. I'm not saying that it's toxic. These are business, but we tend to focus on particular businesses that are run by men, and then we want to start saying it's patriarchy, it's patriarchy, it's patriarchy. They just only want to look at the businesses that are getting in the limelight, the NFL, the NBA. And then when the WNBA fails, they want to blame it on the patriarchy, when in fact these women don't want to go out and buy tickets to the games, because all they want to do is have a man buy their tickets, and men are going to support what they like, which is you want to see your own self reflected on the court. So we're going to go to men's games. And then the women want to tag along with us, so they go to the women's games. But why don't you be proactive and you and your girls go buy some WNBA tickets? Now, I think the WNBA is probably going to start to try and catch on because things take time, but stop focusing on and stop being selective and having, as Chris Rock would say, selective outrage. You can't really say that there's a patriarchy. Women aren't fighting to do construction work, but men are building roads because it's necessary and it needs to be done. Unfortunately, women, and this is I'm not going to say it's a self-inflicted wound, but women just want to say, oh, the patriarchy's running things. But women tend to focus on businesses, like when you look at their degrees. A lot of women, and I'll say that, well, I'm not even going to go there, so I'm back off of that statement. But when you look at certain women's businesses, they tend to steer into particular avenues. And I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong with that. That's just what people do. Women tend to steer, like you see cosmetics businesses, they start, fashion businesses, they start, like skincare, healthcare products that they start. They tend to operate in particular spaces. Entertainment business, they start businesses in those fields as well. But men gravitate to some of those fields, but then men focus in on other areas. Men are into like the sports. Men are into, like I told you, tech, because a lot of men are in tech, and you'll see those businesses particularly dominated by like Asians. When I say Asians, I'm including Indians in that, and I'm also including, and then you also see whites in those spaces. When you see black people starting businesses, or black men, to be specific, you'll see them in the entertainment field, the sports field. They have a particular focus too. So you can't really say that there's a patriarchy. People gravitate to what they gravitate to. Now, if women want to get into the infrastructure building, because the one thing about men will build stuff because they're like, it needs to be done. Men are like, men will build guns. Now, I'm not trying to say guns are necessary, but men will build guns because they're like, it's necessary. It needs to be built. Or men, and I'm not trying to say that guns are necessary because I have a particular feeling about guns, but I'm just trying to say men branch out. Men will build infrastructures such as they'll build cars because they're like, hey, how can we get around? How can we do better? I'm trying to improve quality of life, not just for myself and for men. I'm trying to improve quality of life for everyone. So they build and branch out into businesses like transportation. They get into infrastructure, which is construction. They get into those type of realms. But you can't just start cherry picking and start looking and saying, oh, look at Google, look at Facebook. Well, look at the other businesses. Look at the businesses that are started by women. You don't focus on those. You don't focus on meal products, Mielle, which was started by, I want to say, 2 black women. Cosmetic business, which they sold. I don't know how much they sold it for, but they sold their company. People don't focus on that. People don't focus on the other businesses that are doing very well and claiming that there's a toxic patriarchy. They only look and they see men. Men, men, men. And then they want to complain too. You don't hear them complaining about, you know, Joe Biden basically saying, if I get the nomination, I'm going to give a black woman the vice president. They didn't complain about that when he gave her a handout. So, but what was that? The patriarchy? But yeah, it was the patriarchy. But Joe Biden is, listen, I have a particular feeling about Joe Biden. I think he's a clown. He's a fool. He said stupid things out his He's been saying stupid things out his mouth for decades. That's just my personal opinion of him. I'm not getting into the effectiveness of his job. I'm not getting into that because I know a lot of people are heated about that or going to claim that I'm just talking about the stupid stuff that he says. But when someone literally comes out their mouth and says, I'm not going to choose the best running mate, whether it's a man or a woman or a white woman or a black man or a white man, I'm just going to purposely and intentionally choose a black woman to give her a handout. No one complains about that. No one says, oh, there's the toxic patriarchy. And then when women come on television and explicitly discriminate against men and advocate for women, you don't hear anybody talking about a toxic matriarchy. Men just keep it pushing. So I'm just very, very irritated about this patriarchy talk and about how everything is the patriarchy and what the patriarchy has done to you. So I just want to see where the patriarchy exists for women. Like, what are you talking about? You see, it doesn't exist in life. But, if y'all have some different comments, if y'all are dating men that are, beating y'all and doing all this kind of crazy stuff and that's really got y'all subjugated, then I feel so bad for you. I really do. I don't know where you meet these men at. I have no idea. I have no idea. But, that's the way some people want to live. I have no idea. I'm just trying to figure out, where does the patriarchy exist? So if you have some comments and you can tell me where and how, if you have some examples you want to elaborate on, drop them in the comment section. And while you do that, also hit the like and subscribe button. So once again, this is the Political Brown Kid. I'm out of here.